Good evening and welcome to Girlfriend Minute. I am Shar.
And I'm Pascal.
How are you this evening, Pascal?
I'm doing good. How are you today?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm glad it's Friday, as always. I'm glad it's
Yeah,
feel like just need a break from it all.
I don't blame you. I'm glad it's Friday too because it's one step closer to Monday.
That's how I look at Monday through Thursday, one step closer to Friday.
Right?
Yeah, and then you blink and the weekend just zooms right by. So,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, yeah. So, how was your week?
My week was actually pretty good. It was
Yeah.
pretty quiet, and busy. Quiet, not in the sense of not being busy, but in the sense of not too much drama. Um, and we were pretty busy, so I'm happy. And tomorrow we're actually going to be really super busy because we have ladies' night tomorrow.
Very
And
cool.
so we have about 7 belly dancers or so dancing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
That's cool.
hmm
That's
They're
very cool.
students. They're students
Yeah.
for the main belly dancer that dances here.
Mm-hmm.
And so they decided to give their time, to come over here and do performances. So I'm very grateful for that.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We're already actually almost booked. I think the last table is the house table, and that's my table. The house table is my table.
Is it like, in the mafia movies, you're sitting there
Yeah, exactly.
smoking?
Exactly. So what we call it in Arabic, we call it malima.
Oh, yeah,
Ma'alima means like you're sitting there and you're the queen of the castle and you're running the shows.
as it should be.
Yes.
Just saying.
Exactly.
As it should be.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So, besides the belly dancers, you gonna take any time for yourself this Monday?
Actually, I am. I think I'm gonna go and get a pedicure. I'm gonna finish laundry. I got laundry, so I need to finish some
Yeah.
laundry to I bought clothes, pants actually, not clothes, because I do already have the shirt, but I bought some pants that are just for work. So that way, when I wash the rest of my clothes, I don't really have to wear all those clothes here to work. I could
Yeah.
just leave those like if I go out with my girlfriends or go out with my cousins or somewhere.
Yeah.
So plus, I don't
Yeah.
have to wash all of it.
Yeah.
I just
I
have a
hear you.
designated set for the week. I wash them and they're all done.
They're done. It's kind
hmm
of how I am. We have to wear cobalt blue shirts.
Yeah,
Can be any style. So,
yeah.
we're allowed to wear those Monday through Thursday. We're supposed to wear those, not allowed. And then Friday, it's a casual day. And then
Okay.
we're supposed to wear black slacks. So I wash all my black slacks together and I wash all my cobalt blue shirts together.
Nice.
And then I do that Thursday night. And then come Friday, all my work clothes are clean for the following week. And that's one less load of laundry I have to do. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't blame you because I know that
we
sucks. I hate laundry.
we do. Yeah, I know. I don't mind it. I don't. Some people truly hate it. I'm like, I can take it or leave it. Yeah, obviously I gotta do it. So, but I throw it in. I go do something else and I toss it in the dryer. I hang a lot of my stuff, so it's a lot of towels and sheets and stuff I dry. But
Oh, yeah, of course.
my
Yeah.
work pants and jeans I hang to dry. And
hmm I mean, I don't mind it. At least I'm not washing them by hand.
you're not
But,
at the river with a rock.
right. Oh my God. That's something
Where's
like my mom.
Pascal? She's
Not
down
my,
at the river
right?
doing her laundry.
Down at the riverside.
Right.
No,
Oh goodness.
my mother was one of 8 kids, right?
Mhm.
So she was, I want to say, she was like the middle one, okay?
Mhm.
So she would always help her mom, my grandma, and the youngest ones and washing clothes, for the family. I mean, washing for 8, 10 people, that's a lot of
Yeah.
clothes.
Yeah.
So back in the day, they didn't have a washer and a dryer. So what they had to do was boil water,
Mhm.
Yeah, and then she
Yep.
would dump like all the whites in there and everything, and she
It's
was
like Little
always,
House on the Prairie.
it is, it is. Yeah.
It was laundry
Yeah.
day.
Yes, it was laundry day. And she would
Yeah.
do it because, my grandma, her, after taking care of all those many kids, she's tired.
Oh
She's
gosh.
cooking, she's cleaning, she's doing all of that stuff. So my
Yeah.
mom always was the one designated to help her, but at
Yeah.
least, yeah. And then she
Yeah.
would take the youngest ones, like the ones under her. So it would be my Uncle George, my who is it? My Uncle George, my Aunt Elise, my Uncle Pierre, and on rocks outside and stand them up, and you would get hot water, and they would all take a bath outside all together at one time when they were younger.
When they were
So
younger.
because they didn't have the luxury of having all that water in the house like we do here. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Different times.
life back then was a little bit hard.
Yeah. I would have never survived.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
No, I don't
First of
think I
all,
would have either. That's
no
because we're
AC.
spoiled. Well,
Yes,
we're
no AC.
spoiled.
It's
No.
hotter, hot here.
Yes.
Gotta have AC. I just,
Hmm. Can you
yeah.
imagine back then the people that used to live on the lands over there? There's no way. What did
You
they
go to
do when it was so
Heritage
hot?
Village and they have the cracker houses and they're, over here is like the kitchen and living area, and then there's like this open area, and then the next is the attached. This is the bedroom where everyone slept. And in
Yeah.
theory, there was a breeze it's supposed to blow through. I'm like, no, I'm not
Yeah,
buying that
what
bridge.
breeze? The
I'm not
breeze from
buying.
the person you're sleeping next to because they're
Yeah,
snoring and
yeah,
their mouth
no,
is open.
not buying that bridge. Sorry.
Mm-mm.
You're full of it.
Hmm. Man, they must
Well,
have used to stink back then.
I
Ugh,
just, I
can you
imagine they all
imagine?
stunk and they just didn't smell one another. I don't know. I just, ugh.
Or they did and they just didn't care because that's the way life was.
It was just the way it was.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we had an eventful week this week at work. We had someone try to jump off the fourth floor parking garage.
Oh my gosh.
I always wondered if someone would try that, and they did.
Did they succeed? I hope not.
No, no, no. Whoever called for 911,
Hmm.
cops were running, literally running, believe it or not, they do run. And I went outside, and before you know it, there's like 10 cop cars, ambulances, and fire trucks, and they got the person down. So I'm going to assume they came from the hospital next door from the
The
psych
cuckoo land?
psych ward, and
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just sad. And then, of course, when you work medical, you have a very different sense of humor about things. So
Oh
we won't
yeah,
even
of
go there.
course.
We
Nah.
won't go there about what people were saying.
Oh, I bet. My
And then we
God.
had a sad day on top of it where our nuke med tech, his final day was yesterday, Thursday.
Oh.
So, and we had our big meeting Tuesday, and which
And how
angered
did
a
that
lot of
go?
people. I don't like, I could never do politics. I don't do politics.
Yeah.
I don't like lying.
No.
I, I can't do it.
No, I don't
So,
blame you.
the doctor, who came in as a locum, who is
Mm.
now board of directors at the clinic,
Yeah.
uh, had his little 20-minute spiel, and he basically said, due to safety issues, we had to shut down nuke med testing. That is false information. That is a lie, actually. It's just a flat out lie. The PET machine had just had its certification from the state of Florida for another 3 years. So
So
I
why
don't
would you
like,
lie?
well, yeah, I mean, do they not think that the techs don't tell that us down there who run it don't know what's going on?
Well, exactly. You guys talk to
I
each other.
We talk to each other all day long. We have
Yeah.
Teams chats, and then if someone doesn't respond, it's like instantly they start calling the extension or texting my phone. I mean, so if you think that we don't talk and communicate, and that you don't think that we know how things have to function and operate, you're off your rocker. And to
Yeah.
talk to us and treat us like we're stupid, it's insulting.
It's very
It's
insulting.
absolutely insulting.
Yes.
And you want to cut out imaging step by step, then be honest and say that that's what you're doing in the direction you're heading. Don't, I mean, he blew by it. He's like, there were some safety issues pointed out to us, so we had to shut it down. I mean, literally, he said it quiet, on the quiet
because
side,
he
and
didn't, yeah.
quickly, because he knows he's lying, because he's
And
being
nobody
fed the
called him out on
lines
that?
from, he's being fed, no one's going to call him out on it. First of all, the majority of the people aren't down in imaging. There's 3 of us.
Okay.
And then there's other techs in imaging. And, so nuke med, CAT scan, MRIs, one part of the building, ultrasound, X-ray, DEXAs, other imaging, fluoros are on the other part of the building. So the higher end, more radioactive stuff's over here, and the non is over here, and yeah, it just, but they all talk and communicate. So everyone knew. All of us down there knew.
Well,
but
yeah,
the people
exactly.
up on the floors don't know. So when people start asking me, I just tell them the truth. I'm like, that was a management decision. They're not being honest. It literally just passed its certification. I forget how many weeks ago. Because they're maintained. They're shut down.
Of course,
all the
they have
machines
to be
are shut down, a couple times a year for half a day, different days. And the GE people come in, they're maintained, they're gone through their things.
Well, they're big machines. They have to be maintained. I mean, and I mean, you don't even have to work in medical to know that they are constantly maintaining them.
They're constantly maintaining.
So for him to say, for him to say that, I don't blame you.
Then you're like, really, I work for these liars? I don't know. It's just, this is what's wrong with part of the world. you know, it's, you're treating us like we're stupid. And, for those of us who've been there, I started working there originally 15 years ago. My coworkers, 22 years, my other coworkers, 16 years, and they're all like, no. And everyone there's been there a year or less, or 2 years or 3 years. You're new. You've only been there a hot minute. You don't even know what it was like originally.
No, he has no clue.
Well, he's now become one of their puppets.
Well, and that's what it is. Yeah.
And
so even if you were to answer him, he there's no way he would have had an answer for you.
Oh, he wouldn't have said anything.
No.
I did ask a question. I forget what it was I asked. I asked, when do we get our 3D mammo machine? Oh, well, we're still shopping. Okay, another lie. Because I know for a fact that they have a contract for a specific mammo machine with a good price, and they have not given the radiology manager the okay to sign it and put it in place and get the new 3D mammo machine.
I see.
Okay, so we get this thing called SurveyMonkey, and it says DCMG transition to Sanitas. So Sanitas has recently purchased 6 3D mammo machines for other facilities. And ironically, our manager,
but they're still shopping.
Our radiology manager, and she's the one who shopped it, by the way, picked out almost the identical same machine, got a good deal contract. The company's waiting. We're waiting. But they're still shopping. Another lie.
Oh, that's crazy.
So again, if you don't think, like, she came into my cubicle 2 days after our big meeting at the Marriott and asked me what I thought. And I told her exactly what I thought. And then she told me stuff. And that was one of the things she told me.
Yeah.
So, if you don't think we talk and we communicate, because we're ideally the ones running the show, by the way.
Exactly.
You need your head examined and thrown in the MRI machine. See what's going on in there.
Yeah, you need a test. Let me write one up for you.
Let me put those orders in.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
What's the diagnosis code for stupid? I'm just curious. I have yet to run across it.
Is there one for idiot and ignorant too?
Right.
I don't know.
We're angry. I mean,
I
just lost all respect for him. And if he were to talk or want to talk about it, I'm going to have to walk away, or we're going to butt heads. I'm like, I'm not playing your politics.
Well, then, and he probably stumbles over his words too, because he doesn't know.
He does.
He doesn't know what the heck to say.
When he got there as a locum, all the patients loved him because he's truly a nice guy. And they're like, oh, we hope you stay. He was a locum. He came in to help out. And, he's like, I just want to help people. Well, how do you think lying and taking away PET scans from our cancer patients is helping people?
Yeah, that's terrible.
How are you helping people?
Oh, that is so bad. That is so bad. They've conditioned him in his brain to think that he's helping anybody. Well, yeah, of course.
I mean, he's got a bigger position now, and he's got a bigger paycheck, and he's going to do what he is told.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
it's unfortunate. Yep,
Hmm.
it's unfortunate that money
So
money makes you do stupid things. So
I can't play politics. I'm not good at it. And
I don't blame you.
one of our doctors, who used to be one of our doctors, still is in the building. He's at Florida ENT,
Mhm.
and he used to be our ENT doctor. So he's in the same spot in the building. It's just now Florida ENT. So when the doctors were being bought out, he kind of left and got out of the situation. And he brings me some imaging orders occasionally for family members, and I handle it for him.
Mhm.
And he'll hang out and talk with me, or I'll run into him in the elevator and he's like, hey, and he'll talk and ask me questions, and I just answer him, and he's like, yeah, well, it's always been about that and it's this, and he's very blunt and honest too.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping he offers me a job one of these days.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. That would be great.
But I could stay in my same building, just in a leased spot, and not worry
Yeah.
about it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's sad.
It
My nuke
is.
med tech bill was gonna retire in like 3 years. And he has to go start over somewhere else, and he had been there for about
God.
15 years. And you know, it's just sad.
Yeah, it's
And
like it
I
was
told
ripped.
my supervisor today, because she went to my coworker and she's like, how are you this morning? And Kathy was angry. She's just like waved her off, and she came over to me. She's like, oh, I said, mm-mm. She's been there
Yeah.
22 years. And I told her, I said, we don't like being lied to.
Well, yeah,
If
exactly.
you're lying, he lied on to people. I said, if you don't think I'm not going to be honest, and if someone
Exactly.
asks me what was wrong with our nuke, man, I'm going to be like, nothing, they lied to you.
Exactly.
The certification's up on the wall, still in the room, in the frame. Just,
Wow.
they're lying.
And it's a shame that they do that to their own people who are going to be working for them. Just be transparent, be honest. Like, come on, man. They
Well,
used
and
to do
that's what,
that crap to us in Medicare, so I get it, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
but it's like, then you hear rumors they're going to cut out some managers. So the
Hmm.
radiology manager is possibly looking at other jobs, because she doesn't know if that includes her, because she's
Yeah,
not in on the inner loop. And I said to my supervisor, because I have someone I report to for like PTO and stuff like that, but then I have a boss above her. So
sure.
she's kind of the middle in between for the non-urgent, non-big things kind of deals.
Hmm.
And I said, what are you going to do? She's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I said, I mean, it's rip the Band-Aid off and
Yeah,
let
just
people,
tell it the way it is.
yeah,
That way
just,
people can have a choice whether they want to stay with you or not.
but the lying, I mean,
Yeah.
I hope he just doesn't, because he'll
That's
say, good morning as you go by. And I'm like, yeah, hi, good morning. But
right.
now I'm going to be like, I don't even want to look at you.
Right. I don't even know what a good morning is anymore.
Yeah, I don't even
Yeah.
want to look at you, because I can't deal with the dishonesty and the lying. And it's not for the good of the people.
No.
This was a management decision. They're heading towards all PCP. And one of our cardiologists, who's been there easily 20 years, maybe a little longer, and
Hmm.
his nurse practitioner, they're like, we're not leaving. So what I think happens is, if the specialists start hearing rumors and they don't feel safe, they start looking for other jobs, they leave, they don't replace them.
Okay.
So they're like, we're not leaving until we're told we have to leave.
Yeah.
But with that being said, ophthalmology and PT and OT were told to leave at the end of November. By the end of November, they were given 6 weeks severance, and I don't know, forget something else. But but they're saying, my supervisor says, actually their numbers were declining over the last 12 months. So I imagine the
Okay.
whole clinic's numbers were declining, because as you remove specialists, I can go to Bardmore Baycare down the road, and I can see everybody and have a sub sandwich and buy a gift. I mean, so
Right.
if you're not going to remain competitive in the field, people are going to go where it's easy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So the
It's
numbers
where
are
I
going to
go.
fall. Yeah, see? Then the numbers will fall then because now
Oh,
they're not going to be providing everything that they used to provide. So where are people going to go?
yeah.
Yeah.
We used to be called One Stop Shop,
Mhm.
and we used to have neurology, oncology, rheumatology, ortho, ophthalmology, PT,
Yeah.
um, ENT, pulmonology. We still have gastro, cardiology, and pulmonology, and everything else is gone. So
Yeah.
we used to have over 1,000 patients in our building every day.
Wow.
12, 14,
Wonder how many it's going to
1,600.
be now.
We're probably running about 500 a day. That's a huge
Wow,
drop.
that's half. Yeah, that's half.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And
Well,
it's
eh,
sad.
it is very sad. Yeah, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
people are all about the money when it comes to business. Business is
But the
all about
money's in
money.
imaging. Like, not only did they cut out
Maybe
the
they
PET
don't know that.
scans, not only did they cut out the PET scans, they cut out the stress tests because that's nuclear
Mhm.
med. Okay, so on Thursdays we did anywhere from 10 to 15 PET stress tests a day, just that day, between the
Okay.
cardiologist and my nuke med tech. It's over $1,000 per patient that came into the clinic profit per that day.
Okay.
So if you're doing 10 to 15, that's a hunk of money you're going to miss.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they're never going to make that up. Not in a day. Not in a day's time.
No,
No. Well,
no. And then they
that's
would
okay.
add on days of doing stress tests throughout the week when they had gaps and they could stick in one or two
Yeah.
or whatever they would, and based on the cardiologist's schedule and whatnot. And so, it's if it's about money, imaging, you make money in imaging.
Yeah. Well, it's not
So,
about the money, what they can gain, maybe. It's about the money of what they're paying all the head honchos to do. That's what it is.
well, won't
But
that take from paying everybody?
yeah, it will. And that's why they're cutting jobs so they can
I
pay
mean,
themselves.
it just, well, it is going to be Colombian and Peruvian rand. So, that's not good things that I'm hearing from
Drug
Colombians and
lords,
Peruvians. Yeah.
drug lords.
So I'm hearing this stuff. And, well, it's like that one nurse said the cartel is coming.
The cartel is coming. Yeah.
She told me the
Yeah.
cartel is coming. So, I hate to be like that. It is what it is. But
Mm-mm.
I am honest. And I have videos I could post, and I know for sure once someone told anyone that the videos were uploaded that I would be escorted out, which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I still may do it one day.
Yeah, you never, yeah, why not?
I went
When
and
you
took
when you know when you feel the right moment is ready to go, then just do it.
and I went and took video of my poor lonely PET scan machine today because ironically there have been people in looking at it, turning it on, testing it because they're bidding on it to take it. So why would you sell an unsafe machine as well?
Exactly.
It's just we're just all sitting there. Even my nuke med tech is like the doctor who said what he said. He's like, I don't ever want to see that man again because
Yeah.
he's a liar.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one
That's
has
unfortunate.
integrity. No one.
No, they don't. Not anymore. Not anymore. People don't really care about things anymore. They don't care about people anymore.
And and
They really don't.
ironically, they don't. And
Mm.
ironically, that Wednesday, which was a week ago, this past Wednesday, they shut everything down that Wednesday instead of finishing out the scans that we had scheduled all the way till today.
Yeah.
I had to call all those patients for PET scans and be like, I know you've been waiting. I am so, so sorry.
So now
And
what? They gotta wait again?
they got to reschedule somewhere else and wait to get in. And the hospital next door doesn't have a PET scan machine. As a matter of fact, that Wednesday that I had to do that, a
Mm.
doctor called from the hospital next door. I answered. It's the end of the day. It's like almost 5 o'clock. And he's like, hey, I need a PET scan for one of my patients here. And I'm like, I am so, so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You missed it.
Oh my
He's like, what?
gosh.
And and I'm trying to explain, and he started asking me questions. Is it just for the month of March? What's going on? And I just
Mm-hmm.
said, can I just be honest with you? And he said, absolutely. And I just told him everything. And he goes, you know what? I've been hearing that from some of your coworkers, and I am so, so sorry. You guys have been such a big help to us in the community for so many years. And we're talking over 30 years. And all of a sudden
Yeah.
our PET scan machine's not, no. So, and the PET scan machine is not 30 years old, by the way. They get swapped out every so often, but nonetheless, he was like, but I had been hearing that from some of your coworkers. So, they're talking, people are talking, and they work,
Sure.
goes back and forth, and they're going to look foolish.
No, very big time. Big time. Big time. Well, I
Whether
get
they
scared
care.
for you and I because later on, like, if you have places like these, what the heck are we gonna have?
I don't know.
What are we gonna have? Like, who's
I
gonna
don't
take
know.
care of us?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Really, really scared. I think we're just all gonna die at one time. That's probably it.
Pascal.
The Gen Z. What are we? Gen X? Gen X?
You
Oh
know
my
what? We
God.
used to drink hose water. We can survive anything.
Okay, well then I guess we'll survive.
That's probably why we have a great immune system. We drink
Probably, yeah,
warm
probably.
hose water and didn't think twice about it.
No. It does scare me though, like who's going to be taking care of us and what kinds of things are we going to have out there that are able to take care of us, you know?
Well, we're
So,
gonna have our Golden Girl house,
well, that, yeah, we can take care of each other. So that's a good thing.
so
Yeah,
that's a start,
it is.
and we will work it out from there, my dear.
Definitely. So,
So
real quick, do you want to hear a joke? It's a redneck
I
joke.
okay, yes.
Okay. So, nothing against rednecks, but I just found it very funny and hilarious. So, here's the joke. Why why does police have a difficult time finding murderers in a redneck town?
Well, is that what I sent you? Because they're all related, the DNA is all the same,
Oh
and
no, I didn't get you didn't.
there's no dental. I sent it to you. It's an
Yes.
Instagram, and
Did
they
you
have no
send it to
teeth,
me?
so there's no dental records. I did. I
Yay!
did. I sent it to you, ironically, tonight,
Oh,
and
that's
that's
so
why I started
funny.
laughing
Yeah, I saw it
on
yesterday.
Instagram.
Let me see my
Two
Instagram.
reasons why it's hard to solve a redneck murder. One,
Yes.
the DNA all matches. Two, there's no dental records. That's
There's
what I
no
sent
dental
you.
records. Yeah, that's funny because I saw that yesterday.
Did you?
I did, and my God, I was
Oh,
literally laughing.
I laughed out loud when I sent it to you and everyone tonight. I sent it to everyone tonight.
Hmm.
I was like, here you go, here you go. It made me laugh. There were a few others, so if they make me laugh, I send them to you.
Yeah, yeah, I saw some
So,
of them. They were hilarious.
yeah, well, I sent you more.
Yeah, I see that. I have to go review them now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's
So
why I
what?
could never commit murder because I lose hair. So, I just would shed my DNA.
Oh my God, me too. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So tonight's topic is, when did you know it was time to leave a relationship? So, I had some responses. Um, Nothing overly huge or fantastic, and they're your typical responses. So when did you
Yeah.
know it was time to leave a relationship?
Um, so, I'm a pretty patient person,
Yes.
and I try to be patient as much as possible and everything. But one thing that I cannot stand is somebody who lies to me
Yeah.
and somebody who cheats.
You've said that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, I think, let me see, 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Oh my God, that was like in 22. So 8 years in a relationship I was.
Well, now I remember when you met me in New York. That's been 5
Mm-hmm.
years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind
Five,
of
six
had
years ago, yeah.
implied or indicated that you were suspicious of something.
Oh, yes, exactly.
Hmm.
And I would notice, a few things maybe when we were hanging out. And I would always ask him, I'm like, just tell me the truth. Like, don't lie to me. Just tell me the truth. If it's gonna hurt me, it's gonna hurt me. I don't really care. I'd
Yeah,
rather know from you than have to hear it from somebody else.
correct.
So then my inklings started getting stronger and things like that. And anyway, long story short, I did end up finding out that he was talking to this one girl, and they went out for beers and stuff like that. Now he swears up and down that he never did anything with her.
But
But
here's the
how do I trust
reality.
a liar?
Well, and then the reality is he's taking his time that he should be sharing with you and taking you out and giving it to someone else.
Exactly.
So when they
Exactly.
make plans, even if it's with guy friends and stuff, without saying hey to you first,
Yeah.
it's like you rather give your time to someone else.
And I told him that.
Yeah.
I said, and I can't believe, I just let it go. Like before I used to hold back, right? And I used to hold back and not really speak my mind, not say
Yeah.
what I have in my mind, but this time I didn't hold anything back. I said it right to him. And I didn't care. And I said it in Arabic, so it hurt worse. So, yeah. Our words, just so, people know, whoever's listening, they're not very nice. I mean, you can say the F word, but okay, that might be like the strongest word that you can say here. But when I tell you in Arabic, if it's something has to do with your family or your mother or your this or your uncle or your aunt or your sister, I mean, it involves every family member that you have.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
probably kind of the Italian way too.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's
Mhm.
that's when I decided I was like, okay, that's it. I've been way too nice for such a long time.
It's
And
really hard though.
well, yeah, I'm not gonna say it was easy. It was not easy by
Well,
any means.
you and I know from personal experience, when we keep our mouth shut and we're thinking all this stuff, because we have thoughts and feelings and we are entitled to them because it's our lives too, and we don't say anything and we don't
Hmm.
express anything and we hold back because we're being polite, we're keeping the peace.
Right.
No matter how much we may be hurting, we're keeping the peace. I tend to be a big peacekeeper. And actually, a therapist told me that once in marriage counseling. You learned that from your mom because she tolerated that abuse for so long, verbal,
Right.
not just physical, verbal.
Yeah.
And she would just stand there and she would say nothing. He'd be inches from her face, screaming and bright red. And he was dark skinned because he was Indian. So being bright red,
Right.
it was quite the feat. And yeah, and she would just, not a word, not bat an eye, no expression. And I don't know if that made him matter.
I don't know. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I had stayed quiet for a long time, but then when I started feeling a lot more stronger about the feelings that I had, and then I would like we would go out to dinner or something like that, and I'd open the subject and I'd be like, "So, I noticed that you did this and this and this, and are you seeing her? Are you going out with her? Like what's going on?"
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Are you crazy?" He said, "Like I'm crazy, because it's
Yeah.
always not
And so it's
us."
we're crazy. It's always
Right.
us. Correct.
And so he goes, "Are you crazy? Like I wouldn't even talk to her. Do you see how what she looks like and blah blah blah?"
But you are talking to her.
But you are talking to her. Yeah. And I noticed him doing little things that he used to do for me that he did for her
Oh.
when we would be in the same setting. And then the one time he was sitting there, she was sitting right next to him. I was sitting across because I came in late. And so the seats were already taken. And so I was sitting across and I'm looking at him like looking at him like he can see my eyes. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? And then he's looking at me like he's doing the shit in front of me on purpose.
Yeah.
I get up, I leave that night. I go home, I get into my house, I barely get into the garage. Um, and then I come into the house. Next thing I know, I get a phone call. It was him. I pick up the phone. I said, "What do you want?" He goes, "Nothing. I just want to let you know that I'm home." And so I said, "I don't care. Did you let her know that you were home?" "I don't care. Why are you calling me?" And I'm
Right.
sitting in the garage yelling like on the phone. "Don't
Yeah.
yell at me." And then I said, "Oh, okay. Let me refrain. Let me refrain from yelling at you." And again, why are you calling me?
Yeah.
Why are you letting me know that you're home? Obviously, you showed me when we were sitting there that you didn't give a flying hootenanny about me because you're doing shit in front of me, which is very disrespectful.
Hmm.
Okay. And then now you want to call me and tell me I'm home like I give a shit? I don't give a crap.
Yeah.
So after that, I talked to him about the situation and what it was. He lied to me then. He lied to me more than 4 times. I did not stop asking him. After the fourth time, I kind of knew it was a lie, and then I ended up finding out. And this was after my mother had, passed away, and I went
Well,
to the
yeah.
thing to go sit down and relax. I had a drink or whatever, and here she comes waltzing in. And then maybe 2 minutes after that, here he comes waltzing behind her. And then she's so happy and she's so this and oh my God, it was a mess. It was a mess.
And I remember that for you. And it made me angry for you when your mother had passed and he was a no-show for the funeral.
Oh my God.
Because one thing, and the excuse of I don't like funerals, or I don't know what to say, or I don't know what to do, is lame. Excuses are just excuses. They're meaningless. They're nothing. Your actions were hurtful. And no one is comfortable having to attend a funeral. I certainly don't enjoy them.
I don't enjoy them either, of course
You
not. But
know,
his brother had passed away, okay, prior to my mom, like about 2 years or whatever, in a very bad car accident. And he couldn't, and it was overseas. So he couldn't drive home or anything like that. I drove him home. And I told him, I'm so sorry, and whatever. And he was, teary eyed and whatever. Like, I was there for you, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
I gave it to him about that too. I said, I'm watching my mother die, and you're sitting up here gallivanting with this woman.
well, that's the thing, is he didn't show up for you, and then he had I didn't know what to do kind of excuse. I don't know how to deal with those situations. Well,
Well,
you
because
show up.
his excuse, because he was Muslim and he didn't know what to do because I'm a Christian. Get the hell
Yeah,
out of here with that
yeah,
crap.
you just show up and you go with the flow and you follow the lead.
Exactly.
It's not rocket science. So
No.
excuses are excuses. That applies to women too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, and I gave it to her too, honey, because we used to sit there too, and we used to sit, and she used to be like, oh, you're my sister and you're this. I'm so glad that we got to meet each other and become friends. And like she acted like this big, huge act, and that night I gave it to her. I said, you are calling me your sisters. This is what you do to your sister? You
Too
do
much
this
drama.
behind your sister's back?
Yeah.
And I just didn't want any parts of it anymore. So I sat him down the night after all of this had happened, and I told him, listen, very quietly, very peacefully. And I told him, I don't want to argue with you anymore. I'm tired. I have asked you too many times, and I gave you so much and ample time for you to tell me the truth, and you neglected to do that. I don't want to argue with you anymore. You go your way, I'm going to go my way. And like, I'm done. I'm done. You can forget about me. Don't call me. Don't contact me. Don't do any of that stuff.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, because I can't trust you anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
Once that level of honesty is gone, and there's no more truth to what he says to me anymore, like I have no more respect for you.
Yeah.
Zero. And I told him that. I said, I have no respect for you whatsoever. I actually, you can laugh. I actually, that night when I got into the altercation with him and stuff, I took my flip flop off and I told him, see the dirt under my feet? The dirt on my flip flop is better than you. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep. And I
Yeah.
took because I was taking care of some of his stuff for his work, because I was working there as well.
Mhm.
And I took the keys off of my keychain, and I threw it at him.
Yeah.
I said, "Here, you can have that. You can take it. I don't want it." So he tried to give it back to me. So I said, "Well, why don't you give it to her? Since you want to go and hang out with her, let's see what she's gonna do for you."
That's right.
Hmm. Yeah. And I was done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He earned it. He earned it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Um. Someone wrote, when I realized life goals and lifestyles were just too different. Well, that's true. It
Yeah.
comes to be in the middle of everything.
Oh, yeah.
People grow and change, you know.
They do, and we're all supposed to grow and change, but sometimes we're supposed to be growing together and changing together. But if you don't have those interests and you're trying, like you as a person, as a woman, let's say, are in a relationship and you're trying to reach something where he's still down here,
Oh, yeah,
not
I
really
know.
doing
Hmm.
anything, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you have to grow and change. You can't be doing the same thing today you were doing 10, 15 years ago.
of course not. Yeah, of course not. Times change. So we gotta change too.
I mean, it gets old,
Yeah, it
you
does.
know.
It
So,
does.
and you got to be your own individual person. Don't follow someone like a puppy dog either. It gets to be a little bit unattractive. And
Absolutely.
here and there, but every now and then it's like, I'm going to have a beer with the guys. Okay. It's okay.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
uh, when I didn't want to go home after work and can't stand to look at you anymore.
Mm.
There are many times where I did not want to come home after work.
Yeah.
That work, even the shit show that it's been lately,
Mhm.
is a break from home stresses,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, and especially when
And
you can't look at them anymore.
yeah, I've had those moments too where I couldn't look at them anymore because they disgust you. I mean,
They
and
do.
in my sense, they disgust me because like I'm looking at you and you're really not doing anything. So
You're just kind of here sucking up space.
yeah, you're just here kind of filling up some mess, and I get it, you know. Maybe you're
Breathing my
tired, maybe you're
air.
whatever. Yeah. But you're right, it does. It gets old after a while,
Yeah.
and then when you can't stand looking at them, that's it. It's time to go, definitely. I
Well,
agree
when they're
with
not
her.
bringing anything to the table and they become just
No.
boring, it
Yeah.
just, and no offense, some people like that, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I am not one of those people, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone wrote, after my self-confidence began to deteriorate, I am strong, beautiful. I'm a strong, beautiful woman, and when he began making me feel less than, I just knew.
Good for her.
Good for her. I don't know how many years
Yes.
it took her to, I know her personally. I don't know how many years it took her to realize she was less than, I don't think they were married 5 years.
Okay.
I mean, they were
Well, but
definitely
at
together longer than that,
mhm.
but I don't think they were married maybe 5 years. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
And do you know if he was like that all the time?
I don't know.
You
Well,
don't know.
I do know they broke up for a while and then they
Oh,
had some differences. I had heard rumors. I really don't know what was true and what wasn't. And
okay.
so I don't know. But
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if he wasn't like that to begin with and then he kind of changed along the way, yeah, but kudos to her because at least she got out and she didn't stay in that situation. So,
she
and you are
realized her
definitely
value.
worth, yes, and you
Yeah.
definitely are worth a lot more,
Yeah.
definitely than, and I don't know what he was saying to you, but obviously he took some of your self-confidence away. So, you're definitely worth your confidence.
Absolutely. Someone wrote ugh when I when the fire in me died. Tough decision because we had been together 6 years and he was perfect. Well, it's kind of a contradiction. He was perfect.
But the fire died?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't
And
exciting anymore for her.
no one's perfect. I guess
Well, I
perfect for
mean,
her at the time.
yeah,
Before the
meaning,
fire died?
yeah, well, I don't know. Meaning maybe that she like everything was fine, everything was great, and he kind of just settled in and she wanted more.
Maybe. There's more, she wrote. I was young and eager to explore the world, looking for that fire once again somewhere else.
Oh man. So then she left him? Is
I
that what
would
I
assume
gather?
so. I think
Yeah,
that if the fire died, she started looking for it elsewhere, which is
mm,
common.
it
And
is.
and they say relationships require maintenance, and they do.
Of course they do. It's work. Like we said before on our other podcasts, it's, any relationship requires work, but especially when you're a married couple, it
Yeah,
requires more work. Like, okay, you and I have a great friendship. We talk all the time and that takes work too, because it's
it
not,
does. All
yeah,
relationships take work. Doesn't
yeah,
matter the level. If you're friends, you got to maintain the friendship. You have to put the time in.
you do. But when you're married, it's like it's a different type of a relationship.
Hmm.
And so that one it's a little more intimate, it's a little more emotional. It's, it's everything. It's a little more
Hmm.
heartfelt.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Is
yeah.
it? Just kidding.
Well, I guess it loses interest after a while. I don't know.
Someone we both know wrote when it turned violent.
Oh,
Yeah, well, that's
that's a reason. That's a good reason.
it's a good reason. It's pretty common
It is. Yeah, that's number
even in
one.
this day and age. So,
Hmm.
yes, if you are being verbally and physically abused, I don't care if you have to live in a box, get out.
Yeah, please find help. Please go
Yeah.
search somewhere.
Well, get
There's
out. You have
always help out
friends.
there.
You
Yeah,
have friends and stuff. Just get out. Just
yeah.
get out.
Even
It's
if
not
you feel
worth.
like you don't have friends, I'm sure somebody will take you in.
Yeah, someone will help you.
Yeah.
So, when he was furious that I didn't stay at home while he was out of town, I had gone to visit my parents.
So I guess what? He's a little bit possessive and he just wants to know wherever she goes
Control.
all the time, controlling. Yeah.
Well, she went and he didn't like that. So I don't
Right.
know if she said I'm going regardless of what you say or if she just went and didn't tell him, but I
And
don't
then when he found out, it was a big
necessarily.
uproar.
Well, yeah, and it's like, well, did y'all live in the same town? Well, yeah, because she's not from here originally. So it's
Okay.
like when you say went to your parents, was it down the block? Was it
Right.
different state? I
Right.
I don't know. But with that being said, it's your parents, and why do you need permission as a grown ass woman?
Right, you don't. I mean, maybe I would have called him and let him know, hey, listen, I'm headed over to my parents. I'm gonna stay there for the weekend or whatever. Click,
Well, that's
that's
just
it.
communication. You're just
Yeah, and
communicating. You don't
that's
have
it.
to ask. You don't have
No,
to ask.
no.
It's your parents for the love of. When he called and said, we have to get divorced because she's pregnant. Now, I want you to know the girl that wrote that, we know her. Um, with that being said, she too has a kid by him, which is why they were married.
Okay,
Mhm.
interesting.
I mean, regardless of if they got married and then got pregnant or whatever, he was married with a wife and a child and he got someone else pregnant.
Right, exactly.
So let me tell you guys something. Okay, fine. You want to cheat? Fine, cheat. Put a condom on. Don't get the girl pregnant.
Exactly. You're just going from one bad relationship to
To
another.
another.
You're
Yes.
just making it worse. You're not
I mean,
making it any better. And then you're
do
bringing
something
kids
to
in the
help
mix.
yourself. Yes. Well, that's why I say wear the condom. Don't bring kids
Yeah.
into the mix.
No,
I mean, if
put
you're
your
gonna
rain
cheat, you're
jacket
gonna
on.
cheat. Yeah, that's right. If you're gonna cheat, you're gonna cheat. You're not gonna, if you're gonna cheat, you're gonna cheat. So you're not going to change that. That's their choice,
Right.
whatever's going on, and they're doing that, unhappy in their relationship or whatever. So you already have a wife and a kid, so now you're gonna have another one. So you went from one to another, and again, so if you didn't want to be in that situation,
Why put yourself there?
well, and don't bring the kids in the middle of it. You want to
No,
get divorced and be with this woman, then get divorced and be with this woman, and then have another baby. But don't
exactly.
don't do
No,
this.
don't do that. And then you can't have your cake and eat it too, because some guys think that they can. Just because
Well,
the wife doesn't find out and that I'm having somebody on the side or whatever, and they're like, okay, we'll just keep this relationship down or timid or whatever. But no, you cannot have your cake and eat it too. You don't want to be with this person, don't put them through all that stress. And then don't put your kids through that
I mean, if
stress.
you know you don't want to be with this person,
Exactly. If you're like 100% sure, even
yeah,
98% sure, get the hell out.
yeah. Well,
And I
I
know
don't know.
sometimes I say it a little harshly, and I know some people are listening and are
Well,
like, "Oh, that's so much easier said than done." And I get it. And it
I,
is. It is. But at the same time, you don't have to deal with that shit. You just really don't. I've come to be the age that I
well,
am.
we are the age we are, and we've
Yeah.
learned a lot. This happened to
Mhm.
her when she was younger, and her kid was a lot younger. She's basically raised this kid on her own. He's out of high school now, so it's been a long time,
Yeah,
and things
yeah.
were different than that then as well, as
It
far
it
as
is.
like
Yeah.
when my mom was going through her stuff with my dad, and people in the family didn't believe her. Oh, he would never do that. That's not
But then
happening.
nobody investigated either. So,
No one investigated either, so who are you to say? And why would you want to make that up? And the bruises on her were kind of proof, but whatever. Of course, most of them lived out of state anyways, and we didn't have any immediate family here. Maybe that's why he moved her out of state. I don't know.
it could be. Yeah,
Yeah.
could be.
In high school, I dated a guy for 3 months, but it took my friend to tell him quit dragging her along. Break up with her. He was not the right guy for me. Thank goodness she said something. Well, I think eventually you would have said something.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean, you would have realized it, maybe not as soon, but you would have maybe in the next month realized it. And I think you would have done what you needed to do to take care of
Well,
yourself.
your friend did. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
sometimes it does take a friend to step in. So maybe the friend was seeing things that thought, I know you're dragging her along. She's my friend. Knock it off or
Hmm.
break up with her. I don't know. But
Yeah,
I do think she would have realized it sooner than
probably
later.
eventually. Yeah.
Um, so this one was kind of interesting, and we're not going to get into the topic of like certain things I just don't want to debate and cause anger. But when he turned Christian and started to ask for kids, despite us agreeing we wouldn't, plus other changes that came with it, but this was the main issue. So she didn't want the family. He
He
decided
did.
he changed religions and decided he wanted a family.
Hmm.
Or he just became a Christian and decided he wanted a family. And I know for a fact that if you want more kids and they tell you no and they give you some kind of ultimatum and you stay, that you grow bitter.
Oh,
just an
yeah,
FYI.
absolutely.
It's like, why do you get to control my happiness? So, if that's the case, it's a good thing you're no longer together. So he can go do what
Yeah,
he wants to do with someone he wants to do it with, and you can too.
absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
Not that divorce is easy. That doesn't make it any easier. But I tell you what, if I had gotten married and I was told, oh, no, we're not having any kids, that would have been it for me.
Yeah,
Because I
exactly.
sure didn't stick out this shit show for no kids. Just
Right?
saying.
You got to have something there out of this whole relationship.
Plus the
Yeah,
dogs. I love
no.
the dog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
My fur babies. So, um,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Well,
So
yeah, because
sometimes
if she
things
was,
happen for the best.
hmm hmm
There's always a reason, and sometimes it may not feel like the best at the time, but in the end, it's like if you sit back and look and you went through this terrible time, you're like, I got through it, I survived. It wasn't as horrible as I thought it was at the time I was dealing with it, and
Correct.
I'm better off. So
Correct.
there,
Yeah.
there you go. You ended up where you need to be.
Yeah. And
You know.
usually it's always that you're better off
Oh
for the
yeah,
most part.
most
It's
of the time.
always, yeah, most of the time it's always you did the right choice and you moved on. So,
Yeah. Someone wrote addiction. So
addiction, yeah.
yeah, addiction to alcohol and
That's a big
drugs.
one. Yeah.
That's a big one because it tears families apart, as we all know, as I have said multiple times.
Yes.
It tears them apart. It leaves permanent scars. It
Yeah.
breaks trust. And then you have to spend the rest of your life wondering, what if they do it again? Are they doing it and they're just not telling me?
Right. It's like you're walking on
And
eggshells around them.
and you try to tell yourself it doesn't matter, but if you're thinking about it and it affects your life, it does matter. It
Oh,
does
yeah.
matter.
Yes, it
If
does
they're not
matter.
being honest with you, it does absolutely matter.
Yes.
You know, because if you can't believe that or trust in that, then what?
And right, and that's a big one too. And then let's say, okay, you found out and they say, okay, and and you try to fix the situation and everything. Me personally, I still would have a hard time trusting.
Well, you just can't walk away and let go of that.
No.
It did damage.
Yes. Yeah.
It,
So
it
it
did
would take a
damage.
lot, like, for me to stay in
Well,
a
I don't think
to,
that for
to
me that it would
yeah.
ever go back. You can't go back,
No, of course not. You got to move
you know,
forward. You can never
because,
go
well,
back.
it's not even that you got to move forward. It's things happen in your life and you respond and you grow and you react to those things. They change you.
Yes.
And you're not that same person before all that stuff happened,
No.
whether you realize it or not,
Yep, definitely not.
So it's, you you can't go back.
No. No.
It's not ever going to be the same. You can fake it
But
and
what
tell
is that going to do?
yourself,
Yeah, what's
well,
that going to do? Nothing.
it's just buying time.
And that's it. It
Yeah,
is. Yeah.
it's just buying time. So, uh, my nephew's wife, she deals with that daily, even though he's been sober, I think, for 8 years coming up this August. I mean,
Yeah.
he took everything and anything. And
Oh,
her
wow.
biggest fear is the alcohol, not the drugs, the alcohol, because you can get that anywhere at any
Absolutely.
time.
Yeah.
You can go to the corner store, get gas, and get a beer
Yeah. That's right.
while the gas tank is filling up, So
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to live like that.
No,
And
I
you can
wouldn't
tell
either.
yourself you don't care, and you can tell yourself, and I think they do really well and they communicate and he responds and stuff. So that's a big help. But he's
Hmm.
also been sincere in his actions too. Is he
Well,
perfect?
and
No, but he's
right.
been sincere in his actions.
Well, actions speak louder than words. They always say that. So,
It is true. It
yeah,
is it is wholeheartedly true, you know.
definitely.
Um, I have learned a lot from my relationship. I would definitely have changed things much sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Uh, there were times it was really close, and my family was never really traditions
Yes, of course.
because no one believed my mom. My mom had expectations of me to always do what was expected.
Right.
So I always did because I
Yeah.
was told to, made to feel I had
Like you
to.
had to. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Those damn
um,
traditions sometimes.
well, that's more manipulative than tradition.
It
You
is. It
know,
is. Yeah. It
it
is.
definitely is. So, um, being with a narcissist
Mm-hmm.
or a gaslighting narcissist,
Mm-hmm.
making you feel like you're crazy, they didn't say that, they didn't mean that, you took it the wrong way, and every conversation is a battle when
It is.
it's just exhausting, and at some point it's just
It
not
is.
worth
It's
it.
tiring.
It's
My God.
it's at some point it's not worth it.
No.
It's not
That's
worth your
why.
sanity, it's not worth your peace.
No, of course not. And that's why I like ended my relationship like that. And I told him, listen, I don't want to fight anymore. I'm done. Quietly, like I told you earlier.
Hmm.
I just, that's it. You say, okay, it's gonna change. It's not gonna change. It's gonna this. It's gonna get better. It's not gonna get better. And you go back and forth,
Yeah.
with those things. And it was just, I don't know. You just
And
come
if
to
you're
a point
putting
where
in
you're
all
fed
the
up.
work to make
Yeah.
things right or try to make things better, and the other one isn't
Doesn't
meeting
do,
you
isn't doing anything.
halfway, and they really need to be meeting you more than that because they're the ones with some issues or have to, not that we all don't have issues, but some more extreme than others, then,
Correct.
you need to think about how long you're going to battle this vicious cycle
Hmm.
because that's all it ends up being. And you waste years when you keep
And
making
it's
that
very
same
unhealthy.
circle. It's
Yeah, very
very
unhealthy.
unhealthy. It's very unhealthy.
Yeah.
And then you sit back, you think, oh, I got through it and I got out of it. And why didn't I do it sooner?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Because you're more
Um,
relaxed. You can come and go as you please. You don't have to worry about somebody else. You're not constantly thinking about that person, what they're doing, where they're going, how they're coming. It's boom, like your brain is just gonna be on overload.
and no one here is saying that the right relationship doesn't exist and that there aren't great, fantastic relationships because I have friends that have great, fantastic
Of
relationships.
course.
but they're not all great and fantastic. They all have they
Even the
work
fantastic
through.
ones do too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they have their
Yeah.
issues. You're talking to two different separate people with two different separate personalities, but if you're not on the same page for the big things,
You're not going to be on the same page for the little things.
well, but you're battling continuously.
Oh my gosh. And it
And
could
then when you
take
just shut up and
years.
you stop battling because it's just easier, well, that's not fair to you
And
because
it
you're not
doesn't
getting
get
what
any
you want
better.
out of life,
Yeah.
and it doesn't get any better,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Oh,
It's, I know this one girl, I mentioned it before. She just had a baby boy,
yeah.
She had to move back home out of state. And the poor girl, her husband had been cheating on her, and they paid good money to get pregnant. She had to have some kind of treatments. It wasn't IVF, it was something else. And it wasn't I don't necessarily think it was as expensive as IVF, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not free, and it's not
Right.
covered by insurance because it's not medically necessary.
Right.
And it took them a few miscarriages, and I forget how many years to get pregnant a second time. And during that time, he was cheating. I mean, to the point that right before the holidays, she had to move back home out of state because she went home for Thanksgiving and he moved in the other female. This is a house you have shared with your wife, that you have a 6-year-old together. So you've been married probably, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you just
I'm
totally
fighting to
walked
get
away
pregnant.
from and fighting to get pregnant. Get pregnant. After the gender reveal, you're like, yeah, I'm done. I'm out.
Wow. I'm sorry. That's a fucked up person.
I feel for her.
Yeah.
Because again, she had this joyous moment, worked so hard to have this baby, and there's this dark cloud of he wasn't there and he will
Yeah.
never be there now. And matter of fact, he's in a different state.
Ugh.
And I don't even think he's been to visit the baby,
Well,
to see his son, who's now like 2 weeks old.
wow. Deadbeat.
He used to be in all these pictures with his daughter. I mean,
So then you have another baby. It's your son.
well,
What's
he's
the
been
matter
cheating
with
and
you?
he walked away from his first family apparently. It's what
Yeah.
it looks like. I haven't reached out and asked her anything because she's enjoying her new baby, and
You don't want to open other
I
things
don't want to be
again.
part of that cloud, that dark
Yeah.
cloud.
I feel sorry for her, to be honest. Oh, that's a hard one. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah,
That
I
is
know.
so bad. I wouldn't even know what to do in that sense, but I'm glad that at least she went back to her parents and they're able to at least help her out. So
Oh yeah, her whole
maybe
family's with her. They were with her
that's
during the
awesome.
delivery. They've been there with her and,
Okay, well,
did everything, but it's still
of course it's
not the
gonna hurt
same.
her. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not gonna be the same for her.
this
But you know what?
exciting, joyous moment
Yeah, maybe that's
forever
a
scarred
sign.
by him. It's like,
It's a
okay,
sign.
girl,
Move on.
whatever girl you were, he has a wife with a kid,
Yes,
and now they have another kid on the way, and you think you got yourself a winner?
exactly. Exactly.
And by the way, and this is harsh, and of course it's your life, do what you want. Don't ever date a man or marry a man who's in the process of having a kid with someone else because that relationship didn't work out.
Oh yeah, no, never. Don't do that.
you know, don't do that.
No. No, you're just
You're not,
setting yourself up.
yeah. What makes you think you're so different or better that he won't do it to you when he's sick of you?
Exactly. Then you'll be stuck with a baby and or
Mm-hmm.
pregnant within his second, third, fourth, fifth one, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he hasn't learned his lesson, obviously.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, this is all new. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's just,
I
I don't
don't
know.
even know what he's thinking, to be honest with you. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like you're there, you and your wife are struggling to have another child because that's what you and her agreed to do. Okay. And then then all of a sudden, that's it. You just give everything up. And after your son was born, you don't even go and visit him. What kind of father are you? Well, and then what about your other child?
Well, his daughter, she loved her daddy. So I feel for
Right.
her because she knows the difference.
Of course she does.
The baby doesn't know the difference, but she
No,
knows
but
the difference. And
yeah.
and she's a very well-rounded child, and it looks like she's doing well. She's back into gymnastics and doing things that she was doing here. She's made friends. She's at a new school.
Well, thank God for
But
family.
but it's a huge change.
Well, yeah, of course. She doesn't even know when and if she's ever going to see her father again.
Yep. I
So,
have no
I
idea.
mean, I wonder.
He kicked her out with no money. I'm like, this is Florida. You're going to court, right? Just saying. He has his own business. I've actually used him for drywall. I'm like, y'all going to court, right? Because this is bullshit.
And then he has the nerve to kick her out,
Mhm. Like that,
pregnant.
and didn't give her any money and like cut off access. I'm like, how can he cut off access legally?
Wow.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, that's really messed up. I hope it was worth it for you, mister.
Hope the sex is good.
I don't even know at this point in time.
It's got to be
Anyway,
something.
girl,
It's
you
got
better
to
go
be.
live your life. Don't even think twice about his sorry loser ass. Okay, raise your kids, you know. Thank God for your family. Raise your kids, values, all of that stuff, however you want to raise them. And don't even think twice about him. He can go rot in hell. I mean, I don't know your whole story, but I'm just saying from what you just told me, he kicked her out and pregnant and no money and no nothing and cut her off of this. No, he can go to hell. Sorry. Sorry. You're going there, buddy. The devil's coming to get you.
Right. I don't know. I just,
Girl, you're
I
better
mean,
off without him. That's it.
yeah.
Yeah, she is. Because what kind of a person is he to do
And
that?
then I was talking to a mutual friend, which is how I got this information. Because I'm like, I don't want to bother her. I used to work with her,
I mean, I don't
and
think you're going to bother her. I think she's going to take it as you're checking up on her, seeing how she's doing.
I'm sure she's on an emotional roller coaster,
I'm sure. Yeah.
and
I mean, you don't necessarily have to open the subject and ask her
oh
all
no,
these questions. You just check on her.
I wouldn't open the subject, but you know, it would be odd
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And I don't want her to think that I am looking for information. I just know like she like begged him, and you got to know your value. And
Yeah.
if he's doing this to you behind your back, don't be begging.
No,
Freaking
do
pack
not.
up your shit and go.
Yeah. You're worth a lot more than that. Don't
Yeah.
beg anybody.
I mean, how could you look at him after that?
Oh, I
I
can
mean,
never.
I know people cheat and they all have whatever going on in their world and things and whatever. But after the whole baby thing,
Yeah.
and then just not even doing right by them
Right.
by like providing money for them to go, or
Right.
I mean, like I
Well,
think her
I
family
mean,
had to come get her.
well, and then he didn't just kick her out, he kicked his daughter out.
Yeah, and his unborn son. Hmm.
Yes. He kicked his kids out. So what kind of a person? Forget that he's a man. Okay, we already know that he's a loser man, but what kind of a person does that? You just throw your kids and the mother of your children out
I
on the
mean, if you
street.
stop loving her, you stop loving her. But what about the baby?
Exactly.
What about your
Exactly.
daughter?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That's a
know,
shame.
and I'm sure that didn't happen overnight. So why would you allow treatments and stuff to go on to bring a second one in?
Yeah,
If you had any
exactly.
doubts or concern, or you were thinking about fishing in the pond, why would you, you know?
Yeah. Why would you be okay with going and doing all these treatments to have another one if this is not something you had in your head to do? Or
And
you're
commit
just
to.
following, yeah. Or you were just following because she
But
asked you to?
why would you follow that if that's not what you really wanted, and then be financially tied forever?
Because
And with that being said, going through that process can create a lot of stress on a marriage. So if
yeah,
she really wanted it more than him, and he was keeping the peace at the time, I mean, we just don't know. And by the way, no, I'm not by any means sugarcoating it. He did a shitty thing.
yeah,
He did a shitty thing. But
yeah.
I do know people who have gone through IVF and stuff where it didn't work and it didn't work and it kept failing, that it ruined marriages,
Oh yeah, definitely.
you know.
Definitely.
And they
Yeah.
didn't do IVF, they did something lesser, but I forget what it's called. And it's,
Yeah. It's just it puts a lot of stress on your family. Puts a lot of stress on the relationship. So,
yeah,
but you're
I
right.
know.
I mean, why go through all that if you knew in your head that's not really something that you wanted to follow through on?
I know.
I don't
No
know.
clue. Don't get to ask them. So,
No, sure don't.
you
Sure
know,
don't. But if you're in a
so
bad relationship or if you think that it's not going to go anywhere, I mean, definitely like,
clearly you were unhappy at some point,
yeah. Yeah, talk about it, communicate, and then get the heck out.
you
That's
know.
it. Say what you need to say and then get out. And then
Yeah.
if you come across a situation where you can't really say anything what you want to say, just get out.
Yeah. Just say I'm
Yeah.
done. I don't want to do it
Yeah.
anymore. I don't feel
Yeah.
it anymore, and just go.
Yeah. Especially if you're not like hooked or bonded, which makes it a little bit easier. But if you are hooked and bonded, you might have to take those steps so that you can get out, so that you can be a better you for either your children, yourself, number one, and then your children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes all kinds.
Mm-hmm.
Makes the world go around. This stuff's been going on for decades.
Yes, decades,
It's only
centuries and
social
decades.
media only makes it easier for people to see or notice or realize, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also what people write when they post, so that helps.
Oh my God, definitely.
You
Some
know,
people
so
post everything about their life too. I'm
yeah.
not one of them.
No, it's like you don't exist on there. I
It
post like
is.
the pictures of the kids and things so that I can see them again when they pop up later, and things that I want to hold on to but not keep in my phone. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, I don't really post anything to be honest. I mean, I'll look at stuff, but I don't know why, I just don't. Every now and then you'll catch me posting, once in a while. If I find something really interesting, then I will post, but
yeah,
that's
yeah,
about it.
yeah, I hear
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I hear you. So that was about it, my dear. It was
Okay.
just kind of
It's
basically the same things,
yeah.
you know. Um, you know, I was just curious what other women had experienced, and kind of all the same,
It
which is
it
kind
is
of
kind of the same. Yeah.
sad,
It is.
you
It
know.
is. And same like what we talked about our last episode about, truth and all of that stuff. Those things are big in a relationship. Once those things are cut off, it's very difficult to kind of go back and be on the same page. Then I can't look at you the same. I can't. I can't look at you in your eye and then feel the same things that I felt the day before or a couple of hours
Well, it
before.
it changes the feelings,
Yeah.
it changes the attraction. So
Yes.
it's not fair if it changes the feelings and the attraction. You don't say anything and you don't change the situation, because
Exactly.
everyone has a right and deserves to find their true happiness.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
100%. Yeah.
it's, you
Yeah.
know, a lot of women stay because it's easier
Yeah.
for many reasons, not financially being one of them,
Yeah.
and stuff. So, but it's not really fair, because that person can say, "Oh, I love you. You're the love of my life. Don't do this. I'll just live like this." But in all honesty, once everyone gets through everything, they will feel better.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean,
It's
it's
just a
happened to me.
process.
Yeah, it's happened to me. I mean, as much as that relationship hurt me so bad, um, I feel like I'm free.
Oh, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel like
no.
I'm free and this big huge weight has been lifted off.
Yeah.
And it took me a while. I'm not gonna lie. Like it took me a while. You go
Well, you
from
gave 7, 8 years of your life to someone,
right, and you go
not
from
just
talking to
personal,
this
but
person all the
work.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to nothing. It's change is hard,
Yeah.
but they're
Yeah.
entitled to the true love and true feelings as well.
Yeah.
And if whatever caused whatever damage, everyone's entitled to move on from it and
Definitely.
find it elsewhere. And it's easy to say, no, 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 I want it to work. You've scarred it.
Right.
And it's really hard to get that back.
It is. It is.
And
It
you can
is.
say you have, but it's always going to be in the back of your mind. I mean, be honest about it.
Well, I catch
Uh-oh.
I would catch myself doing smart remarks, like very sarcastically smart ass, remarks to him. And
Yeah.
then he'd just look at me and I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know. And it didn't make me feel good that I even said that, but it was like almost like, oh yeah, I've been there down that road. Like I don't want to fucking hear it anymore.
Yeah. Well, certain
Then
things get old and worn.
they do. And that's why you get sick and tired of it though. But yeah.
You know.
But thanks
I
guys
mean,
for listening and we appreciate it as always. And I believe that was a great topic. I'm sure a lot of women are going through that, have been through it and are going through it now.
it will continue.
And it will continue. Yes, unfortunately. What are we going to do? And it works both sides, by the way. Women are
Oh,
doing this to men nowadays a lot.
absolutely. It
Yes,
does.
a lot. But
And I don't know what causes it, or I don't
I don't know.
know.
I'm glad we lived through different times, even though we're seeing things now. But I'm glad we kind of grew up and
I'm glad
I
I
don't
grew
know.
up when we did. I
When
I
we
would
did,
not want to be
yeah.
growing up now.
No, I sure wouldn't either. Yeah, it's
No. No,
difficult.
thank you.
Nope. But if
I
you
will
guys have
pass.
anything, thank you. Here, me too. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Who passes? I do. Yeah, you do too. Yay! But if you guys
Yeah.
want to hear any other topics and you want us to talk about them, please leave them down in the comments and Shara will get back to you on it. You can contact her everywhere and I'll let her know. She'll let you know where everywhere is. Go ahead.
Wherever it is. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon, Samsung Podcast Index, Listen Notes, Apple, Google, Pandora, TuneIn, iHeart, Deezer. We're on TikTok. We're TikToking. We
TikToking
are on
away.
YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We have Gmail. Yeah, it's a Gmail account. It's girlfriendminute23@gmail.com. And we're always happy to hear from you.
See, I told you everywhere.
Oh, Patreon.
Oh, that's a new one. Yes, that's right. Don't forget that one.
Yeah, that's a new one. So we're
Mm-hmm.
working on that. There'll be things to come with that. That's a little different thing. So
Yes.
But anyways, that's about it.
All right. Good talking to you as always.
As always, my dear friend.
You have a wonderful good morning.
It is. It's 1:22 a.m. You
But
as well.
It's still not too bad though. We did well today.
It's not
yes.
3.
No, it's not 3 a.m. Yeah. All right. Well, you have a good night then.
Good night.
All right.
Bye.